You're listening to Talk Radio A104, All Talk 24/7.
Are you sick and tired of getting up at 2 a.m. with constipation?
Oh, yeah!
Now there's relief.
I was afraid this might happen.
Try our new and improved herbal remedy.
Loosey Goosey.
Take one tablet of Loosey Goosey every 4 to 6 hours. Within a half hour, you'll have the kind of shit that killed Elvis, and you will not be trembling and purple from straining so hard. Loosey Goosey, only $19.95 at a pharmacy near you. Don't forget, get Loosey Goosey
Today.
The Music Captain Entertainment Extravaganza.
DJ Paul Captain. If you're looking for a
Professional DJ, karaoke host, and entertainer since 1984.
Look no further.
Playing nothing but hits. Ow! Hits that hurt. That's my ass!
Music Captain Entertainment Extravaganza.
Oh, yeah! This show is sponsored by the Music Captain Entertainment. Looking for a quality mobile DJ, karaoke host, or a singing impersonator for your next event or business function? Forget the rest and contact the Music Captain Entertainment today. The Music Captain Entertainment in Wisconsin since 1984 is your one-stop source for customized mobile entertainment and caters to your special event needs, wedding receptions, anniversary parties, school functions, nursing home activities, private parties, and bars. We have several entertainment packages to choose from at reasonable rates and customize our performances to your event along with dance contests and prize giveaway at no additional charge. With our total state-of-the-art sound and lighting packages and a wide variety of music, your event will be the hit of the party. Bookings now available in the Madison, Milwaukee area and all of Wisconsin. Contact the Music Captain today at 920-361-3222. That's 920-361-3222. The Music Captain Entertainment, serving all of Wisconsin.
You're listening to Talk Radio A104, All Talk 24/7.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Microphones activated.
From the heart of the Badger State, it's time for America's hottest show in Milwaukee, Night Talk Prime Time, with your host, John Peterz. Grab yourself a drink, put your feet up on the couch, and get ready for some fun and excitement on Talk Radio A104. Now, for your host of Night Talk Prime Time, here's John Peterz.
And thanks for joining us on Night Talk Prime Time, daily at 8 p.m. Central. I'm your host, John Peterz. And we have an excellent show lined up for you this evening. In the studio, we have Paul Captain, who is the owner and founder of the Music Captain Entertainment in Wisconsin. Paul has been a mobile DJ since 1984 and specializes in wedding receptions, a karaoke entertainer, along with being a professional singing impersonator. In 1977, yours truly, John Peterz, met Paul Captain, and throughout the years, myself and Paul became one of the top club DJs and entertainers in the Milwaukee metro area. You know, now sometimes life, friends come and go. But with myself and Paul, we have established a lifelong friendship, personal and professional. And I consider Paul a brother that I never had. Now, stay tuned for this exciting and informative show on Night Talk Prime Time on Talk Radio A104 with Paul Captain, who is in the studio in Studio A right now on Talk Radio A104. Your ears are going to love it, only on Talk Radio A104. I'm your host, John Peterz. Stay tuned.
Peterz Coast to Coast.
You're listening to The John Peterz Show. Sarcastic, offbeat, hilarious. Only the best in news, commentary, and interviews only on Talk Radio A104. The John Peterz Show. Daily Central Time at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., and Night Talk Prime Time with John Peterz at 8 p.m. Central only on Talk Radio A104. We're on the air, on the web, and in your ear.
Carl Lewis for the Will Rogers Institute.
Eat all you want and lose weight. At some point, everybody wants to lose a few pounds, but claims like these are often just too good to be true. So be careful when choosing a diet. Before you start a weight loss plan, please talk to your doctor and do your homework.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org or call toll-free 877-957-7575 and find us on Facebook and Twitter. The Will Rogers Institute, since 1936.
You're listening to The John Peterz Show. Sarcastic, offbeat, hilarious, with only the best in news, commentary, and interviews. Only on Talk Radio A104. It's a John Peterz Show, daily Central Time at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., and Night Talk Prime Time with John Peterz at 8 p.m. Central. Only on Talk Radio A104. We're on the air, on the web, and in your ear.
Peterz Coast to Coast.
Want to hear about your individual rights, liberty, and free market solutions? Then we invite you to tune in to On the Move with Mac Worley on Talk Radio A104 daily at 1 a.m., 6 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Central Time. That's On the Move with Mac Worley on Talk Radio A104. And welcome back to Night Talk Prime Time on Talk Radio A104. Night Talk happens every Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday, daily, 8 p.m. Central, only on Talk Radio A104. I'm your host, John Peterz, and thanks for joining us on episode number 2 on Night Talk Prime Time. Producing this show is Amy in Studio A, and also right here in Studio A with me now, here is Paul Captain of the Music Captain Entertainment in Wisconsin. Paul has been a premier entertainer in Wisconsin since 1984, and he is our entertainment partner here at DJ John Peterz Media and Entertainment Group, along with myself and Amy. Paul, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. And Paul's right here next to me in the studio on mic number 2. Hey, Paul, thanks for joining us on Night Talk Prime Time. And, hey, how you doing, Paul?
I'm doing really good, John. As a matter of fact, I'm living the good life, or at least trying to.
Let's talk about the Music Captain's early years. Paul Captain's early years. When you started listening to music in your teenage years, what did you listen to?
Well, John, actually, I used to hang out with you in my teenage years. As you know, we've been best friends for 37 years now. I've known you since 1977, and luckily it's been 37 years now. We've been partnering together, and back in the day, I listened to the same music you did, which was a lot of 50s and 60s and 70s classic rock. And I still listen to all that today, as a matter of fact.
All right, Paul, great. Hey, when you were a big fan of Rush, Elvis, Cheap Trick, and the Beatles, what songs did you sing?
Boy, I would have to say as many of them as I could, actually. I think Beatles and Elvis were one of my very beginning artists back in the day. I think back in the early 70s when I was beginning to become a teenage kid. Actually, I listened to a lot of Beatles and Elvis, and I think that's really what got me inspired into music. I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I wanted to be. I'm also a major fan of Rush, and Cheap Trick, and a lot of really classic 70s rock is my thing. But I'm a big Rush fan. I've even been to quite a few Rush concerts, and Cheap Trick as well. I've actually had the honor of partying with Cheap Trick on many occasions, as well as helping them set up the stage at the Chandler Ostrich Festival about 10 years ago. And I partied backstage with all the members of Cheap Trick. And actually, Robin Zander, who is the singer, is a phenomenal guy, as well as all the other members.
One final question before we go into a break. What else did you achieve in the early years as Paul Captain, VIA, the music captain?
Well, actually, John, I would have to say what I achieved in my early years, especially in my teenage years, was singing all a variety of music. And I knew at that time that that was the gift I was given. That was my true talent. And that was the gift that God gave me, was to be a singer and an entertainer. And I just sang my heart out to a variety of different songs and singers. And actually, I developed the skill in my early years. I would have to say the best thing that I achieved was my vocal ability to be able to adapt my voice to whatever I want. And I could sing pretty much every artist that I was capable of doing at the time. Currently, right now, I'm in my 50s. I'm 52 years old. And I sing hundreds of artists. And I'm a singing impersonator. And I achieved that goal from my early years because I set out in the very beginning to reach that potential. And I knew I wanted to be a singer for my lifelong career. And fortunately, I have done that. But that I would have to say that was the best thing I achieved in the early years.
Great, Paul. That sounds really good. And let me ask you this one final question before we go into the break. What age did you start out singing and knowing you were going to be an entertainer?
Well, that's a great question, John, because actually I think it started when I was 5 years old, listening to the car radio with my mother. My mother would drive around and take us shopping, and I remember being about 5 years old, and she'd put on, Diana Ross and the Supremes, and just a whole variety of songs back in the early 60s. And I'd be driving around with her in the car and singing some of those songs off the radio back in about the mid-60s. And I knew then, and my mother kind of got a kick out of it because I was pretty good at it for a 5-year-old. And as I got older and older, especially once I got into my teenage years, I knew that was really my goal.
And yes, Paul, that was your goal. Back in the early years of the music captain with Paul Captain, yes, you've done a good job, my friend. And also, I would like to say that I've known Paul Captain since 1977. He's been like a very good friend, my best friend, and I have adopted him as my brother since I'm an only child and everything. And, Paul, we had a lot of great times in the club era in the 80s. You worked at Oliver's. I got you in at Oliver's in 1984 or whatever. And, I was a part-time DJ over at Stars on Highway 100. You were over there. You were at Winchester's at one time in West Ellis, Wisconsin. I was there part-time. And I got you at cool karaoke DJ gig over at Innigan's in West Ellis at the Red Carpet Bowling Alley, which was formerly AMF. And those times that you and me had will stick in my heart forever, Paul. And you're doing a great job. Paul Captain has 3 or 4 DJ and karaoke systems, and he can provide any type of wedding receptions, karaoke DJ shows, or anything you want, nursing home activities. This guy is phenomenal. If you're looking for a quality mobile DJ, karaoke host, or if you have a restaurant or a nightclub, or you want a singing impersonator, get a hold of this guy. This guy I've known since 1977. I'm 55 years old now, right now. And the guy is a phenomenal entertainer, phenomenal singer. You got to hire him right now. Call the Music Captain Entertainment at 920-361-3222. Once again, 920-361-3222. And we are right now on Talk Radio A104. I'm your host, John Peterz, and we're in the mix on Night Talk Prime Time. And we'll be back with more of Night Talk with the Music Captain in the studio, in Studio A, right after this. Stick around for more of the Music Captain. I'm your host, John Peterz.
Coast to coast.
This is Internet Radio. It is diverse and far more entertaining than conventional over-the-air radio. It gives you something you can't get from other forms of audio media. It gives you music you might not hear anywhere else. It gives you interesting points of view and experimental methods of production and content. It's a new type of radio. But there are those that want it gone. There are people who want to take this all away from you. They say that by hearing their product over the internet that they're getting cheated out of millions of dollars. Let's see, you hear their music and decide to buy it. How does that cheat them? You like their product and choose to spend money on it, and that cheats them how? In a free world, people are supposed to have a choice about where they get their entertainment, and your independent internet broadcaster is being threatened by big money conglomerates who demand you do it their way. If you want a free internet radio community, you need to take some positive action now. Not tomorrow, now. Send an email to copyinfo@loc.gov. That is, copyinfo, COPYINFO, @loc.gov. Tell the Librarian of Congress that the World Wide Web is for all people, broadcasters and listeners alike, who are entitled to enjoy this new technology without the threat of the extortion that the big money music interests are proposing. Small internet broadcasters simply cannot afford to pay an inflated per-song, per-listener fee, and you want the free expression of music as art to remain just that, free for all.
Want some tips and advice on how to be a better parent? Then we invite you to tune in to The Parent Factor with Dr. John Garmo, America's parenting radio program, daily on Talk Radio A104 at 12 a.m., 5 a.m., 11 a.m., and 6 p.m. That's The Parent Factor on Talk Radio A104. All shows are Central Time on Talk Radio A104. You're listening to The John Peterz Show. Sarcastic, offbeat, hilarious. Only the best in news, commentary, and interviews only on Talk Radio A104. The John Peterz Show. Daily Central Time at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., and Night Talk Prime Time with John Peterz at 8 p.m. Central only on Talk Radio A104. We're on the air, on the web, and in your ear.
Thanks for joining us on episode number 2 on Night Talk Primetime. I'm Amy, co-founder and producer for The John Peterz Show and Night Talk Primetime. Thanks, Paul, for being a great studio guest on John Peterz Radio. We love you, Paul. And now, back to Night Talk Primetime. Here's your host, John Peterz.
And welcome back to Night Talk. Night Talk happens 7 days a week at 8 p.m. Central Time, only on Talk Radio A104, www.djjohnpetersradio.com. Our studio request line is now open, and give us a call right now at 414-9TALK-88 or 414-982-5588. Once again, our studio request lines are now open at 414-9TALK-88 or 414-982-5588. In the studio right now, in Studio A, here's the Music Captain. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Well, John, of course it was you. It was you, my friend. Back in the day, I think, we hooked up together back in the 70s, and we both loved music. And, I always knew that was going to be my thing. And hanging out with you, who you've always been a professional DJ in my mind. And I think it was you who really inspired me in the very beginning, as well as my own personal musical influences. So it really was very enjoyable to become a professional DJ and entertainer.
Oh, thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Back in the day, you came aboard. I came aboard in 1982 in the clubs, and I believe that was 1984 that you started out.
Well, actually, I think some of the training came from you, but I also took some schooling. I did go to MATC, Milwaukee Area Technical College. I attended the downtown campus in Milwaukee at Milwaukee Area Technical College. It was a couple of music classes that I took back in the 80s. Matter of fact, it was 1984 when I took some musical classes that really, really inspired me. And it really showed me a lot of ways and the things I needed to go about in order to become the musician and the entertainer that I was. I also took some classes at Seattle Central Community College. They were all affiliated with music and business. And I remember back then I learned a lot of tricks of the trade that really influenced me and really inspired me to really go all out and do everything I had to in my power to achieve that goal of becoming a phenomenal entertainer.
That's wonderful, Paul, and I appreciate what we've done together throughout the years. We actually DJ'd in clubs together, and I actually helped you with numerous shows, weddings, and everything. And oh my God, if I can go back in those days, I would do it again in a heartbeat.
I would have to say that there were a variety of things. One thing I learned while I went to school, I had some really good instructors that taught me that you can't sit around waiting for things to happen. You have to go out and do it. And there was one instructor I had who was just phenomenal, and he really put it in me to, he was determined to tell all his students, you can't just sit back and wait for things to happen and come your way, because especially in this day and age, that just doesn't happen. You have to set goals, and you have to believe to achieve. And that's always been my saying from the very beginning, is you must believe to achieve. And I've always used that terminology. You must believe to achieve in order to achieve what you need. And really that's kind of the thing that I did, is I always believed in myself. I knew I could do it. And I set forth the effort and the determination to get up and do it. And I think that goes for anybody out there, no matter what their true talent is or what their skill is. You really have to get up and do it, and go out and seek what you're after. And please don't sit back on a chair or wait on the sofa for something to come your way, because it just doesn't happen that way. And especially in this day and age that we live in now, you really got to get up off the couch and go out and do things, whatever it is. And that's kind of what I did, is I set out to accomplish what I wanted to. And I knew music was my thing. I always believed in being a musician, and I just love it. I don't think I'd ever want to trade it for anything.
The Music Captain Entertainment Extravaganza.
The Music Captain Entertainment Extravaganza.
DJ Paul Captain. If you're looking for a
professional DJ, karaoke host, and entertainer, 1984.
Look no further. Playing nothing but hits. Ow! Hits that hurt. That's my ass. Music Captain Entertainment Extravaganza.
For booking information, contact Music Captain Entertainment Extravaganza at 920-361-3222. The Music Captain Entertainment since 1984. DJ Paul Captain.
How did you get started in DJing in the club scene?
Well, John, thanks to you, my friend. It was you, because you got me hooked up at Oliver's. Remember that? Matter of fact, it was you, my friend. Yeah, back in, the summer of '84. Remember? You were DJing in the club scene in downtown Milwaukee at one of the most popular places known as Oliver's, which was on Water Street. It was considered one of the high-class clubs that was always packed. And you brought me under your wing one night and took me in there, and I was just absolutely fascinated at how fun it was. And, you took me in there one night and said, hey, man, let me show you how to DJ, and you can help me out. So I remember going in there one summer evening, and the place was packed. It was wall-to-wall. People were waiting to get in on Water Street. There was a line out there. Here I am back behind the DJ booth with you and all these hot-looking babes, and I'm like, wow. I think I was 21 years old at the time, and we had, half the place was gorgeous-looking young girls, and I thought, hey, now this is a good job. We had a lot of fun, and that's kind of how I got started. You taught me that particular weekend how much fun it is to DJ, and I saw, that it was fairly easy to do, and it was extremely enjoyable. And and back then we were playing records. Back then we were playing 45s, albums, and cassettes back then, and even the singing machine was 8-track tapes. So I guess that shows how old we are. We're both in our 50s getting, I'm 52, you're 53, so we're getting up there. But that was kind of how I got started in the DJing, thanks to you, my friend.
Not a problem. You're my brother. Anyway, what clubs did you perform at as a nightclub DJ in the Milwaukee area, Paul?
Well, John, actually starting off with Oliver's there with you, and I think one of the best places I played in the Milwaukee area was Stars on 100. Actually, that was probably my most popular club. I think I probably played every place, just about every place in Milwaukee over the years in my 35 years of living there. But I would have to attribute Stars on 100, which was on Highway 100 in Layton, actually was probably the best club gig that I had in Milwaukee, because the funny thing is I got hired there. I went there to do a karaoke show. One night I went in there on Dan Becker's singing machine. Was another guy who was hosting a karaoke show, Dan Becker, who actually went to the singing machine as the producer. But when he was playing there, I went in one night and they had a karaoke contest, and I happened to win it. And the owner of the club hired me on the spot to become the DJ. I sang I went in and I sang some Rush and some Cheap Trick and some Beatles and Elvis, and I think I did a couple Boston songs and just a whole variety of singing impersonations. And everybody was so impressed that the owner came up to me at the end of the night and awarded me the $100 prize, and also offered me a job right on the spot. And I actually started the next day, unexpectedly. So that was probably my best club gig, and I did many of them in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's right. I remember Craig's and Stars on Highway 100. I also was the fill-in DJ when you weren't around, so yeah, that was a good time. Last question, Paul, before we go into the break. What music did you play at the clubs as a DJ? What was your favorite era, and what were some of the requests that you had in the 80s era in the clubs there?
Well, John, actually, I think, to me, I think to be a good DJ, you have to play requests. I mean, personally, in my own opinion, I'm a classic 70s rock guy. That's what I prefer. That's what I like to listen to. But I do that in the privacy of my home. And when I'm out doing a show or entertaining, I play what the people want. And to me, I think that's what a DJ has to do. If you want to be a good DJ and if you want to be a professional DJ, the best way to go about it is to take requests and play what the people want. And I think a lot of DJs I see today play a lot of their own stuff. They play what they want. And a lot of them I've seen don't really take requests like they should. And to me, that's really what makes a good DJ and a professional DJ, is to play the music the other people want, because that's how you're going to contain the crowd. So that's, you know, and actually I would have to also say that, you know, I played quite a variety of music. I played everything from the big band era of the 40s all the way up to the current 40s. So I covered every era of music that existed and mixed up a good variety of everything.
Thanks for joining us in the studio, Paul. Question for you: how many performances have you done since 1984 as a mobile DJ and entertainer?
Well, John, actually, believe it or not, since 1984 when I started, it's been 31 years now I've been entertaining. And believe it or not, I've done over 3,000 shows in my 31 years. And out of that 3,000 shows, I would have to say about 2,000 of my 3,000 shows were club gigs, and the other 1,000 has been split up where 600 of those have been wedding receptions, and the other 400 were a variety of everything else. And really, I live for weddings. That's my favorite.
So weddings are your specialty. Okay, what other types of gigs have you done in the past?
Well, there again, I think I've covered everything out of the 3,000 shows I've done. I mean, I've done everything imaginable. And really, I live for weddings. That's what keeps me going, is I really enjoy doing people's weddings, because there's nothing like being able to entertain somebody's wedding. So really, that's what I live for, and that's why I'm sticking with it and for the rest of my life. But I've done every gig imaginable, from backyard picnics to bar gigs to, I've done everything except a divorce party, and to be honest with you, I don't care to ever do one of those. I'm not interested in that.
What is your specialty as an entertainer? Every DJ has their own twist to a show that makes them significant. Explain to our listeners what you do that makes your shows so special and wonderful.
Well, John, actually, I would have to say my specialty of all of entertaining is actually being a singing impersonator. That, to me, is by far my true talent and my specialty in the shows that I perform, is having the talent and the ability to adapt my voice to anything I want. And I can become any type of singer from everyone imaginable. And that is really my specialty. But when it comes to my shows, I mix up a variety of music. I play requests for the people dominantly, and I mix up everything from the big band era of the 40s to the top 40s. I also have a variety of fun events where I get the people involved. To be honest with you, I have a hula hoop contest, a twist contest, I have the limbo, I have the Macarena, the electric slide, the hokey pokey, the chicken dance, the cha-cha slide, the Cupid shuffle, and so on and so on. And I do a wide variety of fun events, and I also give away prizes for like the hula hoop contest and twist contest and limbo. I award prizes to the ones that do the best job. And I find that by doing these events, it keeps the party going, and it keeps people interested and involved in interaction on the dance floor. And so really I have a variety of specialties that I combine all in one show, and that's really what makes my show special from anyone else's.
And we'll be back with the Music Captain right here on Night Talk Prime Time on DJJohnPetersRadio.com. I'll be your host, John Peters. Stick around, there is more to come right here at www.djjohnpetersradio.com. PeterzCoastToCoast.com.
Peterz Coast to Coast.
In the early hours after the tsunami, it was ham radio that was on the air, saving lives. When Florida was ripped by hurricanes, the hams were there. In the critical moments after the attack of 9/11, it was the hams who coordinated emergency messages. When disasters strike, the hams are ready. Ham radio works when other communications don't. To learn how you can become a ham radio operator, call the ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, at 1-800-326-3942.
Want to hear about your individual rights, liberty, and free market solutions? Then we invite you to tune in to On the Move with Mac Worley on Talk Radio A104 daily at 1 a.m., 6 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m. Central Time. That's On the Move with Mac Worley on Talk Radio A104.
This show is sponsored by the Music Captain Entertainment. Looking for a quality mobile DJ, karaoke host, or singing impersonator for your next event or business function? Forget the rest and contact the Music Captain Entertainment today. The Music Captain Entertainment in Wisconsin since 1984 is your one-stop source for customized mobile entertainment and caters to your special event needs, wedding receptions, anniversary parties, school functions, nursing home activities, private parties, and bars. We have several entertainment packages to choose from at reasonable rates and customize our performances to your event, along with dance contests and prize giveaways at no additional charge. With our total state-of-the-art sound and lighting packages and a wide variety of music, your event will be the hit of the party. Bookings now available in the Madison, Milwaukee area and all of Wisconsin. Contact the Music Captain today at 920-361-3222. That's 920-361-3222. The Music Captain Entertainment, serving all of Wisconsin.
Want some tips and advice on how to be a better parent? Then we invite you to tune in to The Parent Factor with Dr. John Garmo, America's parenting radio program, daily on Talk Radio A104 at 12 a.m., 5 a.m., 11 a.m., and 6 p.m. That's The Parent Factor on Talk Radio A104. All shows are Central Time on Talk Radio A104.
Peterz Coast to Coast.
Thanks for joining us on episode number 2 on Night Talk Primetime. I'm Amy, co-founder and producer for the John Peterz Show and Night Talk Primetime. Thanks, Paul, for being a great studio guest on John Peterz Radio. We love you, Paul. And now, back to Night Talk Primetime. Here's your host, John Peterz.
And welcome back to Talk Radio A104. I'm your host, John Peterz, and thank you for joining us on episode number 2 on Night Talk Prime Time. You're in tune with Night Talk Prime Time. Night Talk happens every Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday at 8 p.m. Central, only on Talk Radio A104. And don't forget the John Peterz Show is on air daily Central Time at 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m., and our primetime show, which is right now, primetime at Night Talk at 8 p.m. Central Time on www.djjohnpetersradio.com. And if you can't get enough of the John Peterz Show on this station, then tune in. And don't forget this, the Midday Dump happens at 2 p.m. daily on Talk Radio A104. I'm your host, John Peterz, in the mix right here. And we're going back with the show, the Music Captain, with Paul Captain in the studio. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Well, first of all, John, I would like to tell our listeners that you are a super guy, and it's always been a pleasure getting together with you in the 37 years I've known you, and we've been lifelong best friends. I want to thank you for having me here this evening. It's been an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure. And I'm just trying to let some of the people know out there, anybody that's looking to become a DJ, or I'm also a karaoke host. I do a variety of things. Is that's what I do. Is I mobile DJ. I have a karaoke host setup that I do. I am the singing impersonator. I'm a game board designer, and I also am somewhat of a comedian. I throw in some comedy into the mix. And I like throwing all that into my shows, which really makes my shows that much extra special. And, as I say, I've been doing it for 31 years. I plan to do it for another 20 if I can. I'm kind of one of these guys that live my life for music, and that's kind of what I think I was put on the earth to do, is entertain people. And anybody that's out there listening that wishes to become an entertainer, I would like to try to inspire you to get up and do whatever it is you need to do to get the ball rolling and to become a professional entertainer, whatever it is you do.
That's wonderful, Paul. Now, if people are wondering how to become a DJ, if they have any comments or want your advice, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, actually, you know what, John? I'm willing to give them my phone number. So anybody that wishes to get a hold of me can contact me, and I'm going to give my private cell phone number out right now. So anyone wishes to give me a call, call me. My number is area code 920-204-2930. Again, that's 920 area code 204-2930. Feel free to give me a call, leave a message, and I'll be happy to get back to you and tell you whatever it is you need to know, or any questions you have. It's a fun life. I've had a great time entertaining. I'll be honest with you. I would never want to do anything else other than what I'm doing now. I've had a great time enjoying it. I've made a great living, and I've made, thousands of dollars doing it. Fortunately, if it wasn't for my musical career, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm very glad and thankful that I did that, and I inspire each and every one of you musicians out there to do the same and do whatever you have to become whatever it is you wish to do. Hey, thanks for having me, John. It's been a pleasure and a privilege, man. I'm looking forward to doing some more gigs with you. Hey, and one last final thing is all those gigs we did over the years, man, I sure did enjoy all those buffets we got to eat, huh?
Oh, yeah, especially the pasta and pizza ones.
All right. Hey, thank you, everybody out there. It's a pleasure for all of you listeners. God bless y'all.
You've been listening to Night Talk Primetime with your host, John Peterz. Tune in every night at 8 p.m. Central for more great shows right here on Talk Radio A104.
This show was produced by John Peterz, founder, corporate operations officer, and on-air talent in Studio A at Hot Mix A104. The opinions expressed on the radio program by the host, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of DJ John Peterz Media and Entertainment Group or Hot Mix A104. This show may not be rebroadcast without the express written consent of DJ John Peterz Media and Entertainment Group.